Alright, y'all. So, I just hit you with the book review of the last book I read, which was Emotional Intelligence for Sales Success, right? And I took a million years to read that one, but I'm already done with my February book of the month, which is the Autobiography of Gucci Mane, right? So I started this book on what January 29th, and I think today is the 6th or 7th, something like that. Whatever day I upload this video is what the day is. I can't remember. It's a Thursday. But yeah, and I didn't finish it fast because of some super motivation to read books faster, but this shit was interesting. This was really interesting. I was already excited about it. I was excited to read it because Gucci Mane is one of my favorite hip hop artists, and shit, one of my favorite artists overall, to be honest. And I've been wanting to read this book for a long time, and it just starts off. I mean, it just starts off strong. This is the prologue, right? He's talking about how he's in his studio, right? And he'd been stockpiling weapons in the studios. Glocks, Mac 18s, ARs fitted with scopes, and 100-round monkey nuts. All out in the open for easy access. I was in Tony Montana mode, bracing for a final standoff. I didn't know when it would happen, who it would be, or what would force its occurrence. But one thing I did know, something bad was going to happen, and it was going to happen soon. That's how he starts the book off. I mean, it's bound to be exciting if he's talking about his studio being an armory and he's waiting for a final standoff. Like, this sounds like some Wild Wild West type shit, right? But even as Gucci being my favorite artist, one of my favorite artists, I didn't really know much about him, right? And after reading this book, I have a completely new perspective on Gucci Mane, right? He kind of goes through his whole life from childhood to what led him up to where he is now. And it's actually really inspirational and motivational because you see how this small town kid just spiraled into the streets and then into his musical career. But as he outlines the details of, you know, the things that led him to that point and what was happening when he was in the streets and in his childhood, one thing you really take from that is his perseverance. He went to jail so many times and failed so many times deeply and felt that failure and just never gave up, right? So like I don't know, there's no failure worse than losing everything you have, like money, family, and freedom. And he went through that like multiple times and still came out on top. And not top in the social sense, but like on top in a personal sense as well. Like, he worked through his problems, right? He allowed himself to have problems, right? He allowed for the failure to happen. He didn't want it, and that's not what he was trying to do. He wasn't working towards failure, but he accepted it for what it was when it happened, and he understood. Like, through this whole process, through this whole book, he was like very introspective about like his awareness. Like, he was aware of what was happening, but like he just couldn't stop certain things, whether it was because of things that he got put into, right? Like situations he got put into, or things that were out of his control, or things that were like, that's the same thing, but also things that were in his control, like drug usage, and how that had its own deteriorating effect on his life overall. So yeah, it's super motivational. I have a brand new respect for his music. I have a brand new respect for the person that he is. And this is like one of those books that I'll have on my bookshelf. My nose is like, but this is one of those books that I'll have on my bookshelf when I'm like 80 years old. Like, this is a classic. It's a classic. It's amazing. But seriously, if you want to take a serious lesson from this book, I would say it's perseverance. So yeah, the Autobiography of Gucci Mane. I would definitely recommend getting it. It's yeah, it's great. I might even buy the hard copy just to have a longer lasting book. But it's the beginning of February and I'm already done with the February book of the month. So there low key might be 2 February books of the month, but I might just hold on, wait till the next month, wait till March to get another book, because yeah, because the next book I'm getting is supposed to be just as interesting as this one, and it's also short. Like, this book was really captivating. I can't stress that enough. The reason I read it so fast was because as soon as I started reading, it had me caught up in the story, like, nonstop. I had to force myself to stop reading it the first day I started reading. I read through half of it on the first day. And I said, okay, I need to slow down. I need to slow down and just, like, read a little bit every day because I was reading it too fast. And the next book I'm getting is The Alchemist. That's, like, a classic book as well. I never read it, never had any interest in it until my mom got it last month. And I read the first page of it and I was like, wow, I need to get this book. So yes, the next book I'm getting will be The Alchemist. If I end up getting it in February, then so be it. We'll have 2 books of the month. But if not, then you know what to expect for March. So later.